What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? Thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is your man Cam. I got my guy, Mr. E-Dub, Eric Williams. What's going on, Mr. Eric?
What's going on, Cam? Good to see you,
Yeah,
and thanks for having me.
yeah. No, thank you for making time for us. Down here or up here, I should say. It's been back to school season, huh? Now I know you've
It,
already been in it a week, but the rest of us get to enjoy some live football here next week. How's it been? How's spring training camp been for you?
Training camp's been good. I've got to see a handful of teams up close, so it's always good, in terms of my job, just being able to see some people I haven't seen for a while and meet new people. Obviously, watch players and see how they're developing over the next 2 or 3 weeks before they start to play games. But I'm ready to watch real football. I'm looking forward to week one. I'll be at Rams Texans at SoFi Stadium for week one. So two playoff teams from last year. Looking forward to see them squaring off.
And some good things to check out. You get to check out that receiving core for the Rams. See,
Mhm.
have Stafford. Have you been to training camp? Have you seen Stafford actually throw the ball yet?
I haven't. I've been to about 4 or 5 Rams practices, but I haven't been over the last week when he's been healthy enough to get out there. So I'm interested to see, what he looks like and basically to see if he can stay healthy. I think that's kind of the main thing.
Well, what's up, Barry. Happy Wednesday, Barry. Yeah, that's something everybody wants to see. Whether he can stay healthy. So we need your prognostication for those that don't know. Eric has been writing for the covering the NFL for what, going on 20 years now. Eric, how long you been
Yeah,
doing this?
yes, it's been 20 years. Basically, Holmgren's Super Bowl season with Seattle, which I think was 2005, was my first year kind of covering the league on a part-time basis, but not really full-time until the last year of Holmgren, which I think was 2008 in Seattle. Was my first year covering the Seahawks beat.
And just so the people can find you, Eric, where can they find your writings now?
Yeah, you can find me on X, Eric underscore D underscore Williams. Find me on Instagram at EDub NFL, and you can read my stories at foxsports.com.
And so, yeah, I was going to ask you. You got to give us your prognostication on the Rams. Everybody knows Sean McVay has that pixie dust over the NFL apparently, and he knows what he's doing. He can turn water into wine.
Yeah.
That's what he did last year. And so the Rams conceivably should be better and really competing for this division title, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, even with Matthew Stafford's, back and wondering whether he's going to be out there, week in and week out, I still feel like the Rams are the team to beat in the NFC West and could potentially make a run for the Super Bowl if everything, works out right for them. Um, I like you said, their receiving core. Devontae Adams looks like, one of the best receivers in the league, still at 32 years old, very explosive. Obviously, Puka's there. Have Tutu Atwell take the top off defense. The tight end that they got from Oregon looks legit. Now that he's healthy, saw him playing in the last preseason game. Higbee can still play, and then they have two good running backs. I think Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. If the O line holds up, they'll be able to score a lot of points. Defensively, they have probably top 5 defensive line in the league when you look at Jared Verse, Kobe Turner, Braden Fisk, Young, and then they add Puna Ford, which kind of helps them in terms of their ability to stop the run. Question mark, at the second level of their defense and in the back end defensively. But I feel like that front four will kind of set the tone for them defensively. And, if they can stay healthy, again, they should be the team to beat in the NFC West.
Now, you mentioned that the two-headed running back, are they going to be splitting time, or is that more Kyron Williams getting the bulk of the carries there, would you suspect?
Yeah, obviously Kyron just signed the new deal, so that's cool that he got paid. Obviously that's
Right.
that's why they do it. Um, so I think you kind of have to justify him getting that money a little bit by giving him the lion's share of the carries. But Blake has looked good in training camp and in games. He looks like he's more decisive running the football in his second year. has a better understanding of the offense and where to go. And you're kind of seeing that guy that you saw at Michigan. Really has a nose for the end zone when he gets close to the goal line. Is great in tight spaces in terms of making people miss. And has a little bit of burst there at the second level. So I think he's going to get some carries. I don't think it's going to be a 50-50 deal. Might be more like 60-40, 70-30, but I do feel like he's going to get the ball.
He's going to get some touches. Mm-hmm. What do you see? I mean, there's a myriad of questions I could ask you, but let me ask you this question and let you take it from here. What are some of the top storylines across the league that you got your ears on as we go into the season here?
Yeah, we already touched on one of them. I think Matthew Stafford's injury status is going to be a weekly thing that we're going to check up on, and is going to decide what happens with the Rams. Jimmy G can run a system and be efficient and effective. We just don't know if we can do that for the duration of the season. But if he's going to be in there for 3 or 4 games, I think he's a guy that McVay feels confident in carrying that team over a short period of time if Matthew Stafford has to rest. And then their guy, Stetson Bennett, has looked good this preseason in his 3rd year in the league.
Really?
Finally shows some promise. He's been accurate, decisive with the ball. He's moved the team when he's been in there. And that hasn't just been in preseason game, that's been in the joint practices as well. So he looks improved. So I think their quarterback depth overall is good. Obviously, Shedeur is going to continue to be a talking point in the league just because of the interest level when you bring up his name. Number 3 quarterback with the Browns. We'll see what happens there. We'll see how long Flacco can stay healthy. Dylan Gabriel has looked really good when he's got an opportunity to play. That doesn't surprise me in talking to people in the lead up to the draft. A lot of people that I talked to thought he was one of the best quarterbacks coming out, regardless of the height and all that.
When you say, excuse me, I don't mean to cut you off. When you say the best quarterback, was he best prepared for the NFL, or was he actually the best quarterback in the NFL? Most talented NFL coming out. Just break that down, if you will, for the fans.
I think most prepared to be able to make the transition to the league in terms of just film study, being able to learn a system, and then being able to execute because of his ability to get the ball out quick and make quick decisions. I compare him to Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, look at him, but Brock Purdy gets the ball out fast. If you've ever watched Brock Purdy in practice up close, I mean, it's impressive. Like, it's just bam, bam, bam. He's one progression, second progression, third progression. It's fast. And that was one thing that really impressed me. And then not only that, the ball's there. Ball's accurate. You play football. If you play with a guy that puts the ball in a position where not only can you catch it, but now you can do something with it when you can get it. Yeah. That's the kind of thing you have with Brock, and that's the kind of thing you have with Dylan.
I like that. Okay, that comes with just kind of hold on that topic a little bit. Just want to get you to expound on that a little bit. There really is something, and Bill Parcells was the first person I heard reference the 40 games. He doesn't want a quarterback without 40 games, and Dylan has 60 games, I think it is. So there is something to that. So where these quarterbacks and where I thought Shedeur would benefit is what you're talking about, that Dylan Gabriel has benefited from being in different programs, learning different schemes, seeing different offenses, and accumulating them, stacking up those games. I thought Shedeur going from Jackson State, going to Colorado. Now, again, he wasn't playing for the national championship, but he took a program that was nothing in both cases and kind of built it up to be competitive, to be reputable. I thought that skill set, that mentality would allow him to flourish at this next level. Never mind him, instead of stepping up in the pocket and turn around and running backwards and not having the foot speed to get away from tacklers. Now let's not talk about that right now. But I thought that experience from him working from different offenses would help him out. Am I off base on that, or do you see that, or would you expect that to kind of show itself later on in the season?
I don't think you're wrong, Cam, but you got to think about it. When he was going through that transition and making those changes, who was coaching?
Well, yeah,
His dad was coaching.
yeah.
So when these other guys are moving, they're being coached by different people. And so I think part of the issue with Shador is he has to be willing to be coached by and coached hard by other people and be willing to listen what they're telling him and then be able to go out there and execute what's being asked of him. So for me, I just feel like there needs to be a little bit more humility from the place that Sanders is coming from for him to reach his full potential. And I don't know how long that's going to take for him to be able to get to the point where he is willing to like let other people coach him hard and really listen and then go through and actually do what he's being asked.
That's an interesting transition and great point you make. That's why I like having you on the show, because you look at it from a very different angle. That's a very good aspect I didn't consider, because if the kid can play football, I believe he can play football. I personally
no doubt.
I believe he'll be starting by week 6 or 7. I don't think Flacco is going to last 6 weeks in the NFL. Gabriel, before I saw what he did this last weekend, I didn't expect Gabriel really to compete with him. But last weekend he looked sharp. I can't. Nobody, if you watch the game, you have to see this kid looks sharp. And then I think there's really something to that. Having 60 starts under your belt, having 50 starts, having seen the game, regardless of how the talent level, regardless of what it is having those reps, having seen the game, having dropped back and made this pass 70 times versus making that pass 30 times, you're more comfortable in time on task, as your guy Staley would say. So I think that you mentioned the humility. Do you? As I mentioned, I expect him to be starting by week 6 or 7. Do you think that his humility is going to allow him to play this season?
I think it will. I think he's going to get a shot to play just because of the situation that Cleveland is. They're looking for a franchise quarterback. They're going to turn over every rock to create opportunity for that guy to emerge, and they need to have answers on Gabriel and Sanders before they go into the draft next year, which they have 2 first-round picks. So I feel like Cleveland's kind of obligated to play all those guys and find out if one of those 3 people are the right person moving forward. So I would be surprised if he doesn't get, 2 to 3, 4 game run to see if he could potentially be that
guy. Sticking with the quarterbacks, how long does, I think we asked you last season, how long does Russell Wilson start? And you had Justin Fields coming in and taking a spot. Now Russell's in the same position with another young quarterback to take his spot. How long does he remain the starter before the Jackson Dart hoopla becomes too much?
Yeah, I don't remember what I said last year, but this year I'll say he has 8 games to make it happen. I think this is different because the Giants drafted Dart in the first round. So the clock is started where, the Steelers had brought in, actually, I think they traded for Fields. Is that correct?
Yeah, they traded for Fields.
But they didn't pick up this 5th-year option. They weren't committed to him. They didn't have a lot of money on the hook in terms of, like you said, the commitment level to him, not only for that year, but moving forward where, the Giants are committed that Dart is their long-term solution at quarterback. So if there's any sense of them struggling or kind of falling out of the race, I think they're going to move on from Russ and get Jackson in there, who's looked really good in the preseason.
Do you think there's hallucinations of the New York Football Giants competing for a division title?
I think they have a chance to be competitive. I don't know if they have a chance to compete for a division title when you talk about the Super Bowl champs being there and the Commanders going to the NFC Championship game. And, Jaden's pretty good. Jalen Hurts is pretty good.
I understand who's there, but when you put a clock on Russell and say there's time, the time is ticking. I don't think it's all really up to Russell, but I understand why they want to get that rookie quarterback in there to see what he got. But I don't think it's going to be on Russell whether they go 2-4 to start or 4-6 or 4-2, excuse me. And I don't think it's all is going to be all on Russell. A lot of that's going to be on that defense. A lot of that's going to be on how those on how the offensive line stacks up. Who's running the ball over there? Who is? Help me out.
Tyrone Tracy. He's as a rookie, he gained I think 900 yards. He played really well.
Last year, 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago.
He's in his second year now. And then they drafted Scatterbo out of Arizona State. I'm just telling you the names, man.
Okay,
I like him.
I mean,
I know he ran a 4.64. I know he ran 4.64. Is he
a scat back? That's what I'm saying. That's my whole point right there. Is he a scat back? Can he even play can he be a third down back in the NFL?
Oh yeah, I think so. He catches the ball well enough.
So is that a ceiling? Because he's not.
I mean, I don't think you should put a ceiling on anybody. I mean,
he's not Mike Allstott.
I don't know. He's not Mike Allstott. He's more Danny Woodhead than Mike Allstott. He's 5'8", 200 pounds.
Danny Woodhead never.
Yeah, Danny, come on. Danny.
He played. He had a 6-7 year career. He got paid from the Giants or from the Jets. Excuse me.
Hey, if Cam has Marion Barber's career, you take that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Is that your comparison? Is that your comp?
That's my comp, Marion Barber. If he comes out, Marion Barber was a day 3 pick who I think ran for over 1,000 yards a couple times, made a Pro Bowl. You know.
Well, I mean,
that'll be 7 years.
That'll be a heck of a season for him for Scatterbo. That'll be a heck of a season. I will say that. Cam Ward, what do you expect from Cam Ward?
I expect him to go crazy.
Really?
Have you seen the highlights when he plays?
I've seen him. I like the attitude.
My goodness. Go ahead. He looks like Matthew Stafford throwing the ball, man. Like, I mean, he just got rocket for an arm. Like the ball just sizzles out of his hand. And he's accurate, and he's got that dog in him. Like he wants to fight you.
I like that.
I'm all about having a quarterback that wants to fight. I like that. I like quarterbacks that are feisty. So, I think he has a shot to do big things. I don't know how the Titans are going to be around him. You know, I don't know what kind of receiver help he has, but he looks like he can make plays on his own. Calvin
Ridley there to help him out. They have no, they got rid of the guy. Number 15.
They got rid of the guy. They got rid of the guy from Arkansas. Aeromar has been playing well for them. The kid out of Stanford, he's a rookie. We'll see.
And interesting enough. Okay, so with the quarterback, I have one more quarterback we have to focus on, and that's the quarterback taking over your former team that you covered, the Seattle Seahawks, and that's Matthew Stafford. Or no, excuse me, Matthew Stafford. That's Sam Darnold. No one in their right mind can expect Sam Darnold to have a similar season that he had last year with the greatest wide receiving core in the NFL.
Right.
What do we expect? Is their season hinge on Sam Darnold or Charbonnet? Oh, I have to apologize about Charbonnet, and I'll give you your props here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Charbonnet or Kenneth Walker? Did their season hinge on Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker duel, or Sam Darnold?
Well, first of all, I was waiting 18 minutes in, before you kind of apologized for the Charbonnet slander, which was pretty thick last year. So I appreciate that. Hey, you're an honorable man. You're an honorable man.
I will say this. You know how I feel about it. I can't turn around and say I was excited about him coming in the NFL. I will say this, and the difference, in my opinion, from watching. From seeing the game how I see it and watching how I see it, Charbonnet hits the holes runs the plays as they're designed to be run and hits the holes hard. That's why he's way more productive than the other running back who, if you look at them both, you're going to pick this guy who's stronger, faster, has more moves, but sometimes we don't need all that. Sometimes we don't need all this designer clothing in the letters and the colors. There's times we don't need that. We just need you to hit the hole. Hit the hole, pick up the 5-6 yards. In the third quarter, that 5 to 6 yards turns into 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's what Zach Charbonnet does that I can understand why Kenneth Walker can't see that. Hit the freaking hole, dude. Just hit the hole.
So you're saying it right. Like, this is the zone running scheme that Mike Shanahan ran back in the day, and he had 1,000-yard rusher, a different 1,000-yard rusher, 4 straight years.
Right.
So they want one-cut guys that can read it and get downhill quickly. That's exactly who Zach Charbonnet is. He doesn't dance. He doesn't bounce. He presses the hole like you're supposed to on those runs, and then he finds a crease, and then one cut, and he's out. And so he fits exactly the running type style that has been successful over the 30 years that they've been running the scheme. And this is actually the exact scheme that the Seahawks started running when Pete first got here. A lot of people forget Alex Gibbs, the godfather of the zone running scheme, was the offensive line coach when Pete first got here. He ended up stepping back because him and Jeremy Bates kind of got into it, and then Cable eventually took over as the offensive line coach, who obviously was a mentor of Gibbs, followed in that line. So they're running the same system. Charbonnet fits the system. We'll see if Walker fits, because he does like to bounce and he does like to move around, kind of like Barry Sanders. And I don't know if that's a great fit in terms of what they're trying to do, because you have to be disciplined. And I don't know if you remember when Marshawn first got there, Marshawn struggled in the scheme, and a lot of people were wondering if it was the right trade when they first got him, because he wasn't reading out the scheme the right way. And then it finally clicked at the end of the year. And then obviously you had Beastquake and the rest is history. So, it might take Walker a little bit more time to kind of figure things out, I guess is what I'm saying. But I think you're right. I think he's a more talented back. And if he does figure it out, those 20-yard games are going to be 50, 60-yard hits. And so there's more potential for him to emerge as a dangerous back. And why not just use both of them? In terms of Darnold's stats aren't going to be like they were in Minnesota, because they're not going to throw the ball as much as they did, there, because of, like you said, all the weapons they had on the perimeter. But there is going to be pressure on him to win games, particularly at the end of the year. And we'll see if he's able to do that. He wasn't able to do that last year, specifically against Detroit in the final game of the year was awful, and then was awful in the playoffs in Arizona against the Rams. So he has a chance to play differently in those situations with Seattle, and Seattle is going to need him to do.
Is he going to be? I understand you make sense. He's not going to have the stats, and they're going to run a different offense. They're going to focus on the running the ball and try to protect them a little bit more. Is he going to be in the position with the season on the line? Like, it was kind of weird, because they were playing for a bye against in that final game, right? It wasn't a heartbreaker if you lost. It was a bad loss. But if you lost, you still were in the playoffs. You still had a couple of seeding. And then the playoffs game, obviously, now you lose 2 in a row. You get smacked down twice in a row. Now it looks really bad. What happened to the Lions look really bad, because you just don't do it in the playoffs. But will he be in a position? Are the Seahawks going to be? I think I had them at 8-9, if I'm not mistaken. Are they going to be in that position? Is he going to be in that position to win meaningful games late in the season?
Well, they won 10 games last year, and do you think they're better?
Their defense looked better. I can tell you, the defense looked better. The defensive line, I think, without Lawrence,
the O-line's better. I mean, the O-line's better, in my opinion, because they're running a different scheme that protects them a little better. It's different type athlete that they're looking for up front, but just getting Gray Zabel in there at left guard, I mean, that improves that unit, along with obviously the guys that they have tackled that they drafted. They still have,
You got 10 wins this season? You got the Seahawks at 10, 11 wins?
I would think at least.
Fox Sports, you guys got to read Fox Sports next week to see these predictions, and you have to what's your Twitter handle?
Eric _D _.
Okay, fans. This is being recorded, Eric.
I know. Cam, they're playing the AFC South and the NFC South in their non-divisional games.
I did look at it. My schedule predictions will come out next week, but I did look at them.
So you might want to adjust. I'm just saying. I know Vegas has them, I think, at 8.5. Is that the over and under for them?
I got 10-7 for the Seahawks.
Okay.
This is unofficial. I looked at the schedule. I got 10-7 for the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm glad you corrected.
It's unofficial. So
I think what we're not talking about enough, Cam, is I think this is the best division in football, 1 through 4.
I'll stop it.
I'm being real. I think it's the best division in football.
That was one of my questions. Is I wanted to know from you, what was this is the best division of football?
This is the best division of football.
Is better than AFC West?
Yes.
Is better than the AFC North?
Baltimore, yes.
Baltimore?
AFC North has Cleveland in it. AFC North has Cleveland in it. Come on.
The Arizona Cardinals in Cleveland walks out each other.
Arizona won 8 games last year. I mean, they weren't awful.
This division is better than the NFC with the
NFC East? NFC North.
Not the NFC North with the Green Bay, the Lions, the Vikings. Who am I missing in there?
Although the Lions lost both their coordinators.
Oh, here we go. Now you take.
I mean,
so the Lions
coach is important, right? Is coaching not important?
Matter, but they still have the head guy there. Like those
head guy doesn't call plays. Head guy doesn't call plays.
Okay. All right.
Head guy doesn't run the defense.
Best division.
Head guy gets guys pumped up before they go on the field, and then tells you to go for it on fourth down.
Now he's diminishing what the culture that
culture's important.
The
culture's important.
Culture's important. Culture over the last coach has changed the culture over the last 3 years more so than our coach in Detroit.
Culture's important, no doubt. That's an important part of what you do. But you lost a lot of brain power. I mean, Chicago has a new head coach, so we'll see how Ben Johnson does as a head coach. And JJ McCarthy is starting for Minnesota. Do we just think that JJ is going to be better than Sam? I mean, we don't know that.
Better. They'll take a slight step back. They'll win a few. They'll lose a couple games. Yes.
There's a lot of question marks with that.
That division is much better than the NFC West. Come on, cut it out.
Wait. Okay, let's talk about the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks in the North are Jordan Love, JJ McCarthy, Caleb Williams, and who's the fourth? Who's the fourth?
For the Lions, the quarterback.
Jared Goff.
Yeah.
The quarterbacks in the NFC West are Matthew Stafford, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, Kyler Murray. Now, which one of those group of 4 is better?
That's a better group of 4. Yes.
Okay, so now let's talk about head coaches. Wait. No, let's talk about head coaches. Head coaches: Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Mike McDonald, Jonathan Gannon, Kevin O'Connell, Campbell, Mike LaFleur, and Ben Johnson. Which one of the head coach groups are better?
I think Ben Johnson was a.
Well, I know. Two of the teams have been to Super Bowls, and one has won them. Have any of the 4 in the NFC North been to the Super Bowl? No.
It's a younger team. It's a younger compilation of guys, coaches and quarterbacks.
Come on now.
Oh,
I'm keeping it a buck.
I appreciate it. I don't. Let's go to the defense. Which defense? Who has the better defense? The Lions, the Vikings, the Packers? Well, let me not say the Packers. The Bears. I don't know, man. That's a hard. That's seriously a question I was going to ask you. I wasn't even considering it in that question. The NFC West. I wasn't considering it. I mean, obviously, Sean McVay is head and shoulders above the whole division, but I expect him to lift the Rams just because of his brain power, as you mentioned earlier. I think I'm not exactly sold on Mike McDonald in the Seahawks. I'm not exactly sold. I'm not exactly sold. I still want to know what I want to see really with what the quarterback does for Pete Carroll, who wanted to get down there so bad because they, from what I understand, they wanted him in Seattle, but they didn't want to pay him what he wanted. And so he said, okay, I'll go to Pete, and Pete will give me some money. And so I'm really interested to see how these quarterbacks, I should have had that quarterback. I said I was done talking about quarterbacks, but I want to see how they play out this season. That because was it worth signing? Was it worth getting Sam, or should you just pay Geno? I want to see kind of, because Geno, I thought Geno did good things for me personally. If you're not going to go out and just throw everything at Joe Burrow, I'd take a Geno and let's make everything else work, me personally. Okay. But we run out of time here. And we talked about the Charbonnet Walker. So you with me, Charbonnet gains more yards than Walker this season?
Taking Walker.
You're taking Walker? The Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon. Now you're going to see this next week.
Yeah, that's big. But Nick Mixon's out. So, I mean, Chubb's the guy, right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
Houston.
big.
I'm sorry, Houston. Houston, we got a problem.
Yeah, Mixon's a beast.
I mean, but if he's not able to, I think his game regressed last season. I don't know exactly what they're expecting from Nick Chubb. Are they expecting Nick Chubb to be a bell cow back or be who he was in Cleveland, not last year, but in years past? If that's what they're expecting, that's not what they're going to get, I don't think. What about you?
I think it's probably a little unfair to expect Chubb to be like he was a couple of years ago when he was one of the best backs in the league. I think he can still be a complementary piece to a running back unit. So I don't know who else is in that running back room for the Texans. But, I don't think you can expect Chubb to go out there and get 20, 25 carries like he did, before the injuries a few years ago.
Yeah, I hope that's not what they're expecting because they're going to be sadly disappointed. Austin Genty, I'm not feeling. I love running backs, but I'm not feeling his presence in the Raiders making a difference. I'm not feeling that.
Not everybody's Saquon, man. I mean,
I'm just I don't want him to be Saquon.
Saquon set the bar high.
Well, I'm not wanting to be Saquon. That's
okay.
That's not the expectation.
And I mean, he's not Marshawn either. I mean, he's a different runner. He's a hard runner. He's hard to tackle because of his size. It can be hard to get. Well, he'll be 5'9", 5'8".
I watched the Niners jack him up pretty easily, and then he did have to run one run. We ran one dude over, but was that third stringers?
Preseason.
Exactly my point. Who was on the field, and it was those guys early who shut him down. I'm concerned.
You played running back in high school, and you understand that the more you get the ball, the better you are as a runner. And he didn't touch the ball that much in the preseason. So for me, I'm looking how he does in the second half of games. I feel like that's where he's going to get the explosive runs. He's special in terms of his ability, in my opinion, to make people miss. He can catch the ball in the backfield. They're going to figure out ways to spring him loose. I think he's too talented to not have an impact offensively.
So here's my concern. I asked this question. I was fortunate enough to get into Seahawks camp a couple of times this training camp, and I wanted to know, and I wanted to see Zabel against the defensive line. I think the defensive line, the Seahawks defensive line, is one of their strong points. I don't know if the rest of one of the. I mean, they got dogs there, and that's without Lawrence and Chua, Lawrence Williams and Uchenna suiting up. The rest of those guys are that's without those guys and the potential Pro Bowlers. So I think they're ready. That defense line going to set the tone. But I was wondering if Zabel was going to be able to keep up because of the level competition he played with at North Dakota State. Was he going to be able to transition pretty well into the NFL? Mm-hmm. And what the word was, well, he went down there and dogged all the guys in Alabama and Mobile. So in the Senior Bowl, so that was a pretty good indication. Okay, he can transition. Genti didn't do that. Not that I
Okay.
recall.
Okay.
What happened when they played big level teams in the college playoffs? I don't remember what his stats were. I'm not looking at stats. I don't remember what they were, but I don't remember him breaking off in the playoffs. I don't remember him having a 150, 200-yard game. I don't remember that.
Sure. Well, I mean, obviously defenses were keen on him. Defenses aren't going to be able to key on him because they're going to have to deal with that dude Brock Bowers. Mm-hmm. There are other guys on the offense that they're going to have to account for. You know, Jacoby Myers is they don't trade him. They brought Amari Cooper back. So they have other dudes. And I don't know if that was necessarily the case with Boise State. So you're talking about they know that he's getting the ball. He's the only guy that's really doing damage for them. And so, you know, I think in college, it's easier to key on, you know, the number one player if there's no other options that they have to worry about. And I don't think that's going to be the case for the Raiders in their offense. So I think you bring up good points. You know, let's see what he does when he gets out there in the regular season.
I want to see. I'll be watching, and I want to see.
I don't think Chip Kelly has shown us everything that they're going to do offensively. They're probably holding some stuff back for the start of the year. I will be in Vegas week 2 against the Chargers. So I want to put that out there.
Speaking of those Chargers, they went and picked up. I don't know why they picked up Harbaugh. You really can't say much wrong about Harbaugh. He's won at every level, right? And he made winners at every level. But you go pick up the dude from Pittsburgh.
Oh, you don't like Najee?
Najee, his game regressed since his rookie year.
1,000-yard running back, first 4 years in the league.
His game has regressed, Eric. Is 1,000 yards in the NFL today what 1,000 yards was in the NFL 10 years ago?
They're paying him $4 or $5 million.
So they got to steal, is what you're saying. So he's gonna be the goal line back. I expect Omarion Hampton to be the bell call back there before.
Omarion's gonna be rookie of the year. I mean, he's gonna get 20-25
over Henderson,
over Henty, over Genty.
Ooh, no, Henderson in New England.
Over Henderson, over Cam Ward.
Oh, who's my man in Pittsburgh? Who's man?
Johnson.
Left? Yeah, Johnson. I think he's got a good shot. He's in a good situation.
He's a good player. He's a good player.
I think he's in a great. Iowa. Yeah. I think he's in a really good situation.
Yeah, there's a lot of good backs.
There's a lot of good backs that just came right in. So we see just from what you're talking about earlier, you're not a fan of McCarthy and him, JJ winning 12 games, over under 12 games. It sounds like you're going under.
I'm taking the under. I just he's coming off of an injury. He hasn't played. I think he's talented. I just,
how much
all rookies struggle. So I think he's going to struggle a little bit.
How much does that receiving core, and then clearly Kevin O'Connell was a QB whisperer, how much that receiving core allow him to flourish, though?
You can't catch the ball if you're on your back.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Sam Darnold wasn't no QB1 killer either before Kevin O'Connell got a hold of him. You know,
Darnold played in the league like 6 years now. I mean, he played some games. This dude hasn't played any games.
Okay. All right, so you got him clamming up.
I don't know. I mean, we got to see. Just like, okay, when Brock Purdy got in the game, he started balling, and so you're like, oh, okay, like you didn't expect that, right? So you just don't know until dudes are in the game and the live actions happen, and you're like, okay, how is he going to respond? So I want to see.
So. How is Richardson going to respond? Will he get a chance or even respond?
Richardson's going to be playing somewhere else.
Is he going to play though somewhere else?
He'll get another chance because he's talented, so he'll get another chance somewhere else.
At 50% completion percentage, he'll get another chance.
Somebody will take a chance on him and see if they can resuscitate his career. He'll get a chance as a backup and then potentially as a starter, but he needs to go somewhere like the Rams, where he can learn and they can take their time with him. And, the Rams,
Any
Baker
quarterback,
Mayfield
any quarterback would want to go play for McVay or go to Minnesota.
or Shanahan
Any quarterback would want to do
or
that.
LaFleur
Hell, LaFleur. LaFleur impressed me.
Look at Malik Willis.
Yeah, McClure impressed me when he took over the Packers. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of laughed at that hiring because I remember he was shy, just talking to beat reporters, just as an offensive coordinator. I remember he appeared to be shy,
Yeah.
and didn't want to talk. And I say appear because clearly that's not the case. But that was interesting. I'm gonna let you go on this one, Eric. I thought this dude talked way too much. I didn't like the comparisons to Lawrence Taylor. I thought they were way unfounded. And there was a lot of people that I respect, really. I respected their opinion before they try to compare this dude to Lawrence Taylor. I was like, come on, you guys have got to, you're out of your mind. So I never bought into this hype and hoopla of that dude, number 11 in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good player. I don't have him in the top 10. This 100 players, 100. He's not in my top 10. There's better players better defensive players that has his position. He's not as good as Chris Jones. He's not as good as T.J. Watt. And certainly not even have to mention that other dude in Cleveland who said he wanted to win games and just took the money. What's your thoughts on Micah Parsons? He's in a position. It's always the next guy up, right? That's going to get the big bag. He's going to get the big bag. No argument.
He's the next guy in line.
Yeah. Is this Jerry Jones buffoonery here, or what's going on here in Dallas?
Yeah, it's Jerry being Jerry. I mean, he likes the eyeballs, and he's creating some controversy to drum up attention to his team, which, on the field isn't as good as he would like it to be. I think, Micah will end up getting paid because, like you said, he's the next guy in line. I do feel like he's one of the top, 3 or 4 pass rushers in the league. And he's young. He's only going to get better. He still has a lot of. So you're really when you do these contracts, you're paying for future performance. And so the fact that he's still a young player and hasn't reached his potential, so you're betting on the future with Micah. He's headstrong, stubborn. You like that in individuals that are football players. And I think you need Micah Parsons to have a legit defense and really to have a team that can compete for Super Bowl. You need a guy humming off the edge that can get there in critical moments of the game. And so they're going to pay him. They should pay him. They shouldn't have waited this long to pay him. The whole issue with the agent is nonsense on Jerry's part, but it's also part performance by Jerry. It's what he does. Give Parsons his money. Parsons is going to get his money, and then he'll get his money.
Yeah. Hopefully he won't do any podcast, but get your money. I lied, Eric, because there's one thing that we hadn't talked about. I was going to ask you, what hadn't we talked about that you want to get out there? One thing we hadn't talked about is our two-way player in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Do you expect him to play both ways, or do you think he'll have packages on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, from my understanding from people that have been around the team, he is going to play both ways. They have a specific coach that is monitoring his reps both on offense and defense during practice and in games. And then they have somebody that's tracking his GPS and how much running he's doing. So they're monitoring that on a daily basis in practice to get him ready. So they have a specific amount of snaps that they want to play him on offense and defense. They're teaching the offense stuff first because Cohen, their head coach, he's a Sean McVay disciple. Their offense is really hard to learn. And so they're spending more time with him learning the offense because it is such an intricate offense to learn. They want him to learn it from the ground up so they can move him around once he learns the offense. And then they'll find out, where they want to play him defensively. So I think he's going to be a guy that probably plays more offensive snaps to start and then they work him in sub packages defensively, maybe in nickel. For me, I think we've seen it in preseason in the limited amount that we watched him. Is he going to be able to tackle at this level? Because he's not a big guy. And where they want to play him close to the line of scrimmage, I mean, we've seen it with Devon Witherspoon, who's only 185 pounds. Devon likes to hit, but it also does, affect his wear and tear. And so I'm interested to see how he's able to deal with that. I don't think it's going to be a conditioning issue. I think it's going to be a durability issue.
A durability issue. And so I was just thinking as you were talking, and I'm a probably, play for now versus look through 5 or 6 years in the future. But this is going to shorten his career, where if he was a really good receiver and he could play 9 or 10 years in the NFL, where now he's going to be tackling some of these running backs who are coming around the corner. I mean, that would be my strategy. As soon as you bring number 12 on the field, I'm running my tight end or running back right at you and see if you can block, if you can avoid this block, or you can tackle this guy. They're coming right at you. So this is going to shorten his career by about 3 or 4 seasons. Wouldn't you think now if you're playing both ways, he's not going to do that for 10 years. He's only going to do that for 5 or 6 years, if healthy, if possible.
I think the thought process is on Travis Hunter's part is if he can actually do this when he goes up for a second contract, he's going to get paid as a good receiver and good defensive back. Like that's what going to be the asking price. And that's why they moved up the draft, because they believe they're getting a Pro Bowl level player on both sides of the football. But I agree with you. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. And I think he might end up losing money because really receivers are getting paid more than defensive players at this point. So I would bet on being an elite receiver like a Justin Jefferson, because he kind of tracks in terms of his body profile and his ability to make contested catches as a Justin Jefferson who's making a lot of money. I would go that path. And you're not getting hit as much.
And you're not tackling nobody.
Yes.
It's I like the ambition. I like him really wanting to play football.
I'm here for it.
I don't think he'll get to his he's a rookie, right? He got drafted in the first round. So he'll be he can't he's under this contract for 4 years. His 5th year, he's not going to see another deal because they're going to treat him like a running back. You've done too much. You're too exposed. This can't continue. They're going to treat him like a running back. And that second deal is going to be harder than you think it is. Eric, let the people know one more time where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on X at Eric_D_Williams. You can find me on Instagram at EDubNFL. And you could read my words at foxsports.com. Cam, I appreciate you having me. It's always good to talk to somebody from back home. Hopefully I'll be back home in a couple months and maybe we could have a few adult beverages.
Yeah, let me know when you're back home, man, and I'd love to take you out, man. Thanks for your time and have a great, wonderful season. And we'll catch you up midway through the season just to see how things are going for you.
Sounds good, bro. Appreciate you. Good seeing you.
Likewise. Thank you for your time. Talk to you soon. Have a good one.
All right, bro.
That was Eric Williams, Mr. Fox Sports for the NFL. Go ahead, hit him up on Twitter, hit him up on X. Great guy, great content that you guys can check out for him. Always coming with good, hard facts, as you see. So we get a little heated as we talk a lot of junk, back and forth. As the guy knows football. I know he knows football because I was there. I was there coaching with him, so it was or covering the Chargers with him. So it was a great time. Right now, we got a new friend of the show here, Mr. Bo Crouch. Bo, how's it going?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm well, sir. Dude, we got Mr. Busy Man Bo. I think this might be the Bo fifth show today, fans. Hopefully his letters and words don't get tied together. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. How's your day going?
I'm well, man. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us, Bo. Let the people know where they can find you first and foremost.
Yeah, so you can find me here on YouTube at Football-Talk. But man, I mean, you can find me everywhere. I'm running around constantly.
All right, Bo. So NFL starts next weekend, man. Too bad I don't have my sound machine. I need my
right?
NFL starts next weekend, man. So you're a big Hawks fan. You've been covering the Seahawks.
Mhm.
We're just having a conversation with my man Eric from Fox Sports, talking about the difference in the running backs and how do you see. How are you with Mike McDaniel? Let me ask you that question first. How are you with Mike McDaniel? And tell me what you see and feel about Mike McDaniel's regime here with the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean, obviously his first year here, he goes, 10-7. I mean, I don't know how much more you wanted him to do, especially when you think of the fact that he had a lot of one-year guys, especially on the defensive side, right? Again, coming into year two, a complete shift on the offense. Right. So this is still a roster that they're putting together. But when you're looking at what he had to deal with coming in, he was dealing with the worst offensive line in the league. He had a bottom 5 defense that, just in the course of the last year got into a middle of the road defense. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're going from bottom 5 to middle of the road, that's a significant jump. Right. So I like what he's trying to build. I'm a defensive guy, so I do like kind of a defensive minded coach, even though that's not popular in the league anymore. But no, I like the direction it's headed. I'll be real interested to see how this new version of the offense really comes together. But overall, I mean, I don't know how you could really ask much more from him. I mean, 10-7 your first year in what most people thought was going to be a 6-win team is not terrible.
Where do you have them finished this year? I think their defense is obviously a defensive coach is a good thing. Obviously, coming from Baltimore, where they hang their hat on defense and have for the last 2 decades, I guess, since we go back as far as Ray Lewis, they hung their hat on defense. So bringing that mentality up here is not a bad thing. I don't totally disagree with that because that franchise is won a couple of Super Bowls throughout that time and always been a perennial contender. Their defense looks sharp. Mm-hmm. I'm concerned about their quarterback now. I think they dwindled. You get rid of Tyler Lockett. Did you try to restructure the fan favorite kid? I don't know. This is some things I don't know. These are some things that I'm questioning. I was questioning the organization from afar. I just happen to be up here now and I'm a little bit closer to it. But these are some of the things that did you even offer the fan favorite any a ham sandwich and a Coke to stay around? I don't know. Tyler Lockett seemed like he should have been there.
To be fair, there's a reason they didn't.
Well, okay, go ahead. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. So as much as, again, fan favorite, awesome. The problem is he was going to be a $30 million cap hit. DK was going to be a $31 million cap hit. We were going to be over the cap. And, so getting those guys out of here off of the roster, it had to happen. Right. And you're seeing the Niners do similar things, right? They're losing guys like Debo, stuff like that, because the cap is the cap, right? Like everybody else gets to finesse their cap. The NFL doesn't, right? The NFL is like, this is a hard line. This is what it is. It's not like basketball where they're like, oh, we're going to pay some tax, or baseball where they just make up money.
Well, I don't know. Patrick Mahomes seemed to be doing okay over there in KC.
But he restructures, so he got his deal, right, where he was the most expensive guy, and then he wins a couple of Super Bowls. And when you watch what he does with his contracts now, it looks a lot like what Brady did.
Yeah, certainly. That makes sense.
Of course.
I don't know why the guys have to be sold on that. I mean, Bo, I don't know about you. But I personally, I've never been a 100 millionaire, Bo.
Me either.
But Bo, what is the difference between $100 million and $110 million? I don't know. Is it a new yacht? Is it that fourth story on your house? I don't know. Is it the fourth house for your fourth wife? I don't know. But if you gave that, not give it back to the team, if you allowed the team to use that extra $10 million to sign somebody else, maybe you guys might be better. Maybe Cincinnati, maybe you might have a better cornerback. You might have an extra linebacker if Joe Burrow doesn't sign for $350 million. If he signs for $300 million, maybe he can sign somebody else. That's kind of what I think. I don't know about you, but Bo, again, I'm broke. I don't know how you what do you millionaires think? Do you guys millionaires think like that, or is that too much logic?
This is kind of the way I look at it, right? And this is provided that you have a long enough NFL career that it matters, right? Because the average length in the NFL doesn't get off the rookie deal, so it doesn't matter. But when we're talking about guys that can last 15 plus years, right? I look at the rookie deal is what it is. Nothing you can do about that, right? So you hope that you land on a team that's good enough to win, and especially if we're talking about a quarterback, right? Like say we're talking about a quarterback, you get drafted somewhere, you're on your rookie deal. You hope that there's enough pieces around you to win. You play good enough to get the bag, right? You take the money one time, right? Like you make the rest of your life easy, right? Go get that money, right?
You earned it, yes.
And then soon as that next one comes, then you take some team deals, because now you're setting up your career after football. You've already been in the league for 8 to 10 years, right? So now you're setting up your post-playing career. So maybe you take some discounts, but you go get rings. And what do rings help you get? In front of the camera.
Recognition, yeah.
Hey, and now all of a sudden you're talking in front of the camera on Fox and CBS and NBC.
And now the Super Bowl champion instead of just a regular old Bro Crouch, right?
Exactly.
The Super Bowl champion, Bo. All right. So we talked about the Seahawks. We talked about the running game. I'm not going to belabor the Seahawks, but let's stay in the NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you see as a bigger contender for the NFC West? The Los Angeles Rams or the San Francisco 49ers?
Oh, the Rams, easily.
Easily.
Yeah. So the Niners, because they've had to let some guys go, they're going to take a step back. Right? They're not going to be terrible, right? The one thing John Lynch is really good at doing is reloading, right?
Yeah, okay.
And he goes to all the bowl games. I saw him at the Senior Bowl, got to chat with him for a little bit. And I asked him while we were there, I was like, hey, when you come to these, how much can guys move themselves up and down a draft board? And he's like, you will actually start seeing more GMs come to these again. GMs had kind of started not showing up to those events. And he's like, you're going to see more of them come now, because it's the little things that we're seeing here at things like the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl and all of these that can really move some guys around. And you're not necessarily looking for the production, but it's looking for, are they immediately able to grasp the terminology? Because, like the Senior Bowl, it's all NFL coaches, NFL terminology, right? And it's an all-star game. So it's not like you're playing a bowl game with your team. You're playing with a bunch of guys you don't know in a scheme you don't know with coaches, so like everything is foreign. So then they're looking at, okay, are you lining up in the right position? Are you doing the right coverage? Maybe you're a step behind or whatever, but you get 4 practices before you play the game. So, how seamless is it going to be? But, or guys like Tomlin, he just followed, he followed the linebacker core around for 2 days. Right. So, when Schneider was there, he was literally following the offensive and defensive lines. He was there for 3 days, literally just following those units around. So, guys going to these are looking for gems. And so I never count the Niners out, because John Lynch spends the time to really analyze and scout. And so that's why you see these moments where you're like, oh, you know what? They're going to have to rebuild because they got to let guys go. And then all of a sudden they find somebody in the 5th round that nobody's heard of, and they come and ball out. So as much as it's annoying as a Seahawks fan, it's actually really impressive to watch.
is speaking of that, you kind of just touched on it right there. You touch on the work that the GM and the scouts have to do to identify the talent. But once they bring the talent in and they've identified that talent, we hope every GM is turning over every leaf and turning over every stone to identify that good talent or whatever the traits are that make the talent, right? Once they get in there, is it the coach or the talent that allows that talent to flourish? Is it coaching or the talent? What do you think?
Coaching is a huge thing when it comes to the NFL, right? Like basketball, less so, right? I mean, and you could make that argument for baseball too, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe it doesn't matter as much. For football, it really matters, especially when you think of the way football teams are constructed, right? You need to work in unison. Right.
Let me cut you off right there.
Sure.
Coaching, yes. Are you saying coaching or scheme in football?
Both.
Okay. Are you equating them as one and the same? Or are you saying the position coach? I have my belief. I'm just asking you to
two things can be true.
On this. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Two things can be true.
Absolutely.
Coaching matters, right? Especially when you think of how many guys that come from the college ranks that they just don't make that conversion to the NFL, right? That's coaching because the tools were there. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe the coaching doesn't work, but also the scheme matters because we've seen guys come in that landed in a spot where you had a coach that was like, this is my scheme. It is what it is. You better get on board. And then what they do well isn't what that scheme is designed for, right? And so then you see other guys who are able to adjust their coaching style to make their scheme fit the talent that they have.
Right.
I think they're better coaches, right?
Those are better coaches, yes.
But not all coaches do, right? So I really think that, and that's why I say two things can be true. Like you need the coaching, but you need the scheme to fit your players too. And you need a good enough coach to understand that sometimes the scheme that you came in with isn't the one you're going to roll with.
Right. Or you need to adjust it because you got these players who do this a little bit better.
Exactly.
So you need to adjust it, and as you mentioned, that makes a good coach.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, prime example of this, we're watching, the Colts completely mismanage and misutilize Anthony Richardson. Now, do I think that he was overdrafted at 4?
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And I had him before the draft as like a 3rd round guy. Right. Okay. He's a project. He needed help. You watched him in Florida, and he wasn't super accurate when it comes to mid-range stuff. He had a long ball that looked nice, super athletic, right? But he wasn't ready to start day one. And so what he needed is somebody to help bring his game along. But unfortunately for him, the Colts, they throw him out, then they bench him, then they bring him back in, and then he gets hurt. And then so it ends up being this weird convoluted thing. Then they bring in Daniel Jones and, so it's just a weird scenario. Whereas you look at a very similar guy in Jalen Milroe, who's coming to the Seahawks, that is coming into a situation where he gets to develop. Develop because you have Sam Darnold, the presumptive starter moving forward. Right. Yeah, he just signed a 3-year deal. Yeah. You have Drew Lock, who is your number 2, and he's shown that he can be a very effective backup quarterback. He can come win you a game, which means a lot of bad things have to happen for Milroe to get starts this year, right? Like everybody has to get hurt. It has to be a disaster. Yeah. So, but what's great about that is Milroe is another guy who can throw a decent deep ball, has a little bit of accuracy issues mid-range, and he's athletic. But again, he's not a starter day one. And the difference between these two guys is the Colts wanted Richardson to play hero ball immediately, and Milroe isn't going to have to take a start.
I
don't think they're identical players. I'm just saying that they have similar.
I got you. Interesting that you brought up Milroe. I thought the Seahawks should have taken Shedeur Sanders at that point right there, who was available.
They don't want the noise.
Yeah, but you got to take some noise for the talent. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have to deal with a little bit for.
So
you got to deal with.
Here's why you don't.
You don't want the backup quarterback getting more attention than your starting quarterback. I understand it. However,
Yeah.
are we sure that Sam Darnold is this next guy for the next 3 years? Are we sure about that?
No, and neither are they. If you look at the contract, there's outs after every year.
Exactly the reason you take a flyer on Shedeur Sanders with that 3rd round pick than Jalen Milroe, who's I think his career average in college was hovering around 60% passing.
No, I
think
agree
you
with
take
what you're saying.
But
You know,
I understand. I mean,
Shedeur
I
has his
don't.
own issues though.
He does. He's not wasn't going to be fighting Sam Darnold for the starting position if they drafted him. That's not what I'm saying. But I think he's a bit more ready to play in the NFL than Jalen Milroe is. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, but they weren't drafting somebody that needed to play right away.
Fair enough. I don't know. I don't know. Milroe sitting on the bench for 3 years is going to be as ready as Shedeur is today.
Well, but they were looking at Milroe's potential upside. Right, because the one thing with Shedeur, right, it's not like he's got a cannon of an arm. He's athletic, but he's not hyper athletic, right? Like he can move around a little bit, but he's not running away from people.
No, right, exactly.
But,
I think he's a quarterback. I think that's what he is. He's just a quarterback.
Like he can be serviceable. Like I'm not saying he can't be a guy in the league, but he's not going to be Lamar. He's not going to be one of these, perennial all-star type guys, right?
Are you drafting Jalen Milroe to be
no,
Lamar 3.0?
No, but what my point is there was a higher potential upside when it comes to the athletic abilities of Milroe, who doesn't need to play right away. You don't get any of the noise that you get with Shedeur, because it's one of the reasons why people really didn't entertain Cam coming back, because they didn't want every time their starter to struggle. They didn't want the noise of Cam Newton having people trying to get him to start. Right. It's a similar thing. It is a similar thing.
I understand the noise.
And that's something the Seahawks don't mess with, really. Just historically. I mean, like when they get dudes that start getting noisy, they get them out of the building.
You're way in the Northwest. Who hears that? Nobody hears that up here.
No, but we do.
Nobody hears that up here.
Yeah. It's funny though, because when you start getting they think we own the whole sea. Sorry, some of the comments have been cracking me up. But yeah, no, it's I don't know. I didn't think he was a good fit. I think there were some spots that he probably should have landed that he didn't. I didn't particularly think he was a great fit for Seattle.
I mean, I think with some good coaching, man, you could turn a lot of players into something. So that's where I think if you look, the reason Shedeur Sanders didn't get drafted had nothing to do with football and nothing to do with on the field interaction, and especially at quarterback. There's nobody in their right mind takes, as you mentioned, you had Milroe down the line, and nobody in their right mind takes that guy ahead of Shedeur if you're just thinking about quarterback position. Now, if you're thinking about you don't want the noise and this guy's not gonna have to play and we got potentially 3 years with him, okay, you make your decision. But Bo, what are some of the top storylines that you're looking at? We talked about Shedeur Sanders. Obviously, that's a big storyline through the draft and all through the offseason. We talked about the Seahawks, obviously, but what are some of the top storylines that you're looking at this season going into the NFL?
One of the ones that's really funny is the Trey Hendrickson. He gets $30 million, but no extension, right? Yeah. And even with him getting that, they have 3 guys on the offense that make more than the whole defense combined. And people keep talking about the Bengals are going to be amazing and all that. It's like, are you guys high? Like, what are we talking about right now? We watched them miss the playoffs last year. And they didn't do anything to get better on the defense. In fact, we watched something really hilarious in the way of we let go Noah Fant, and the Bengals had a little bit of cap space left. And instead of addressing the defense in any way, they grab another tight end. Right. More offense, right? Like it's just the Bengals are hilarious. I mean, they might sneak in as a wild card, but I mean, they're not going to be a good team, and every game's going to be a shootout, right? They're going to be a shootout. Points a game to win.
But they have the very best quarterback in the game. Well, let me say, arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the game, arguably one of the best receivers in the game. Receiving core. I mean, They 1A or 1B, whatever you want to categorize it. And so they have the potential to outscore somebody. They had the potential to outscore everybody in the league. They scored 27 points a game last year. So
but do you honestly think that he's going to have another just back-to-back MVP years and back-to-back Triple Crown winning receiver? Because that's what they're going to have.
I mean, the odds of it happening are low. Am I gonna be surprised if Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase go out there and hook up for another record-breaking season? Not really, because I think they're that good. I mean, I don't know how I don't know how Jamar Chase runs 10 yards, a 10-yard in route, and then the defenders fall down. I don't understand it. And he runs for 40 yards, and they don't touch him. I don't understand how some of this happens. However, Joe Burrow put it right in place so he can catch it, put a move on, and get upfield. And T. Higgins didn't. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did T. Higgins miss some games last year? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he missed two.
He didn't have a full. He didn't have a full season. Now, he was dealing with the contract issue himself coming into the season last year, but he didn't have a full season where he's now ready to play football, right? So they come back into it, man, and Joe Burrow's that good where if their line is just a little bit better and the guys make a tackle or two, they need to make a tackle or two on the other side of the ball. And I understand you. As you mentioned, you said you're a defense guy. You don't like the fact that they devoted everything to the offensive side of the ball.
I don't like teams that don't play defense because it doesn't do good things in December and January and February.
You're right. You're not wrong. I think running the ball is important, but the league, for whatever reason, try to get away from running the ball. I think hopefully Saquon Barkley brought it back, but the league really tried to get away from running the ball and devaluing running backs. That's I mean, they do actually come a dime a dozen, but they really try to devalue these guys. And every team, I wrote an article about it on last year. You find it on voiceofthefans.org. How important, how critical running the ball is. At one point last year, I think when I wrote the article, it was a week 12 or 13. Mm-hmm. Leading the season was Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens, and they had running backs who was averaging 5.9 yards a carry. And that was Henry and Saquon. Now, those seasons, the seasons those guys were having were kind of anomalies, but it spoke to the importance of being able to run the ball.
For sure. And then what happened to the Ravens in the playoffs when they decided not to utilize a running back? Oh, they got smoked.
Did they have a brain fart? Did they have a brain
2
fart?
years in a row.
Yeah, with two different offensive coordinators.
Exactly.
I don't know. You got to look at Harbaugh. You have to look at Harbaugh.
Exactly.
When it happens 1 year with one coordinator, and then this very same thing happens the very next season with another coordinator, you have to look at the head coach.
Yep.
And
that's simple.
Or Lamar Jackson, he's not. I don't see Lamar Jackson as the type of guy who's going to go against what the head coach calls. But Lamar Jackson needs to say, "Hey, we're going to run the ball. Give the ball to the big guy behind me. let's just give it to this guy. How about we do that, guys? I mean,
you have an absolute mountain of a human. I don't know how you forget he's on your roster.
Because of those two back-to-back playoff blunders. However you want to classify it as having back-to-back seasons. I mean, it's just the Ravens. They're a very talented team. I like Lamar. I like Derrick Henry. I like their defense. I like the organization. Nothing about the Ravens I do not like, except I just don't expect them to get over the hump. Like I expect the Buffalo Bills to cross that line before the Ravens if they can get over the hump. If they can get over Patrick Mahomes. Which, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is now coming off a season where he got smacked around in the playoffs. You think he's going to be happy?
For sure. Well, I mean, so here's my problem with the Bills, though, is that team is way too Josh Allen centric, right? Like he controls
Yes.
85% of the offensive scoring, right? Like it's either him throwing it or him running it, right?
Yes.
So that team goes wherever Josh Allen goes. But Josh Allen, he has some of that Brett Favre in him where he's gonna do some things that are gonna hurt his team in a random moment.
But
right?
that's why he won this. That's why that same reason. What you're saying is the reason he won the MVP last season, because he did not make those critical mistakes.
I'm
he
aware.
Did not make those critical mistakes last season. So
Sure.
has he arrived? Has he arrived? Has he got that out of his system?
Or was it his career's awesome year? Because every quarterback has one of those where they just come out, they ball out. But it's a little bit of an anomaly. Not to say that he isn't going to have other great years, but he is a little bit of that gunslinger, going to maybe make some mistakes, right? So I think he's going to keep himself clean multiple years in a row? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I buy into that.
So I'm a Dolphin fan.
Okay.
I've been watching Josh Allen for several years, obviously, and it wasn't until last year. I think it was week 4 or 5. I was like, this dude's playing on another level this season.
Way more patient.
He was playing on another level, and I had to give him his respect for being the best quarterback in the league last year. I had to give him his respect, and what I'm saying is I think he's developed to now. Not only is he not feeling the pressure to make a big play on every play.
Yeah.
He's learned how to use the talent around him. I think losing Stephon Diggs last season, like when they got him, they put everything into having Stephon Diggs, right?
Yes.
And then that one guy having that number one receiver was a predetermined. Everybody thinks you have to have that number one guy to make the guy. And Josh Allen developing, he needs a number one guy to help him develop, help him become that guy,
yeah.
right? I think once they got rid of him, Stephon Diggs, well, they had a couple of they have a couple of flameouts in the playoffs. I think once they got rid of, the Buffalo Bills got rid of Stephon Diggs, it forced everything to be on Josh Allen. And Josh Allen now learned to use the other guys on the field to distribute the ball to other people. And he didn't have to get it to one guy all the time. He didn't have to make sure that one guy gets 150 targets. He can spread the ball around. By spreading the ball around, now, heck, he says, hey, there's openings. I can run the ball too. And he starts running. I think last season was the best season we've seen from Josh Allen. I think that's duplicatable. I don't think that's going to be he's seen that he can do it on his own, and he can use the other targets that are on the field. And the emergence of James Cook really helped big time too. Because James Cook be able to run out of backfield. Now James Cook can run when there's 5 DBs on the field. Now you can just pitch it to James Cook and he can pick up some yards, or throw it to James Cook and he can pick up some yards. I think their offense is in a place that, I hate to say it, Buffalo Bills are going to be right back there again. They're clearly going to win the East.
Yeah.
They're going to be right back there again. I think his game, and that's going to be a big thing to see how he progresses. I think he's there now to where that other stuff, trying to play hero ball, is not so much a concern. And I mean, they may be even talking to him now about Josh, slide. We need you to slide. They might be. They may. I mean, they might be more seriously. Seriously, they might be working on that. Hey, Josh, we need you to slide, bro. And save everybody from getting a heart attack. Just take a slide, or go out of bounds. But he was, that moxie, that being 26-year-old, feel like you can run through a wall. He just wanted to keep doing it. But I think his game is regressed, or excuse me, not regressed. It's progressed to the point where now he can do a lot of things, and regardless if it's on him, he doesn't need a superstar receiver. He can do it with the no-name tight ends that he has. The James Cook is the only guy you got. Who name the receivers they have? Keon Coleman's the only one I think I can name off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. That's who I have off the top of my head. But so you're a Dolphins fan.
Yeah. I didn't want to draft Tua. I didn't want them to draft Tua.
Well, I mean, obviously that was its own issue, right? Like he was actually injury prone, even in college, all that. And then, of course, when they forced him in, Ryan Fitzpatrick was actually killing it that year. And instead of letting him play it out, you force feed Tua and you end up missing the playoffs. But the big thing is you're coming into this year, right? You have Tua. He's had one healthy season, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at your quarterback room, right? Obviously, you hope that Tua doesn't go down. History says
he's going down.
Right, the odds are high, and so you have Ewers, and you have Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, yeah.
Right.
Shame on the GM. The GM should be fired. The GM needs to be fired.
I mean, I feel like if you guys struggle this year, you might be looking for a new coach too. But
yeah.
The thing that's interesting is I actually sort of got the Zach Wilson acquisition. And the only reason I say that is it required nothing to get him. Like he's basically free. And when you look at the other
you're really working hard to go out to get the free guy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, you figure he's the free guy is, this is break glass in case of emergency, right? Like you're hoping he doesn't play.
No, it's gonna. We know the glass is already broke. We know the glass is already broke. We're just waiting for the alarm to go off. We already know this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess.
We know this.
Ewers has a lot of starts though, so I mean, in theory, he should be able to play. But the big thing is when you look at the other Jets quarterbacks that were drafted, they've left the Jets. They've had an overnighter somewhere that had competent coaching, and then they moved on from there to play pretty decent, right? You look at Geno, he did that coming to Seattle. You look at Darnold, he did that going to the Vikings. So I can see where you're like, you know what? I'll take a flyer on a guy coming from an organization that is a dumpster fire all the time, get some competent coaching with, Sean Payton, and then bring him in. And worst case, he doesn't work out. Well, what are you out? Nothing. A league minimum, basically.
Okay. I mean, but can we work a little harder, guys? Can we work a little harder than the following the guy in the boneyard? I mean, for real, seriously. We know the guy's going to go down. We don't want him to go down. Obviously,
you guys could have got Shedeur.
Okay, so you're right. You're right.
We got some double standard going on here.
No. Okay, no. See, I said they could have drafted the Seahawks specifically could have drafted Shedeur instead of Milroe. They drafted a quarterback. The Dolphins.
So did you. You drafted Ewers.
He was stinks, by the way. He was stinks too, by the way. What round was yours? Was he late? Was he a fifth round guy?
No. I think you went and got him in the third.
Embarrassing. He was stinks, by the way. That's embarrassing. They didn't need if for the Dolphins to be drafting a quarterback, they should have been drafted in the first or second round. That's where they're if your focus is the quarterback, that's how serious you got to be about that position. This guy's going to get time. That's why you have to go out and get a good guy. Why don't you go get a veteran though? Why don't you go out and get Flacco? Why don't you go get? You only need the guy for 4 or 5 games. Go get a Flacco. Go get a veteran who's been in the league. So you serious about when this is? You really
it's not if it's when.
It's not if it's when, but you really open up a wound here because, again, I'm a Dolphin fan for real.
Yeah.
And this is where I feel that Mike McDaniel is he was last year he was on a hot seat for me last season, coming into the year last season.
Sure.
So this year definitely because you're supposed to. We talked about coaching and talent. When your quarterback goes down, unfortunately for Mike McDaniel, he took over the situation where he's a fragile quarterback. Okay, so now that means number one, you have to go get a backup. We're in the league 3 years now. You have to get a legitimate backup for this guy. And again, if you're going to go draft a rookie, he has to be the number 1 or 2 draft pick because you need a rookie who knows you have confidence in him being able to play. They don't have no confidence in Ewers being able to play. So, but I say go get.
Why didn't you guys get
veteran.
Jameis?
That would have worked. That would have worked. You just go get a veteran backup. Jameis would have been ideal, but they're not thinking. This is why I say Greer should be on the hot seat. Greer should be fired. That's why I say the GM should. He had 20 years to get this right. He should be out of there. Mike McDaniels should be fired because when we lose our quarterback, you got to be able to coach up a young dude or devise an offensive scheme that we can still get some points on the board, a la Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota.
Yep.
He brings in a free agent on Tuesday, plays him on Thursday, and this dude wins a football game. Yep. That's coaching.
I mean, he is a rocket scientist, so I mean,
okay. But
so he absorbed the playbook pretty well. Although Baker did it with LA, he did it like the next day, basically, and didn't know the playbook at all.
Again, this is that's coaching. You need to coach your guys up. McDaniels hasn't done that. Oh, well, we lose our best number one guy. We're going to lose some games. No, it doesn't have to lose the games. You just pacifying those games. So you got me going on the Dolphins. I try not to talk about the Dolphins. I get too excited about that. But that's some of the issues that they were having. That's why I really think it's a hot seat because I don't see the coaching. We talked about coaching. I don't see the coaching from that coaching staff. Before I let you go, man, I'm not going to keep you here all night, and I want to thank you for joining the show. The fans really appreciate it. One more time, Bo, go ahead and let the people know where they can find you on your social media.
Yeah, so you can find me on all the social media at Football Talk with Bo. My YouTube channel is at Football-Talk, and most of our stuff is simulcast on Roku TV, and our Wednesday show is on 97.3 Radio.
Pretty dope, man. Pretty dope. We applaud you for taking your time to join us here.
No, thanks for having me. It's fun.
What is the best division that you see in the NFL? The best division? Is that Baltimore? I know you're gonna diminish the AFC North because they got the Bengals in it. But is it Baltimore? Is it the AFC North? The NFC North?
So I like the NFC North still. In fact, the Bears are getting better. Obviously the Vikings are probably going to take a step back. They're, going to be starting JJ. So even though technically not a rookie, he's a rookie, right? Because he didn't play. The Lions are still going to be a great team, but they're probably going to win that division with more of like a 12-win season. And then Green Bay is going to be right there, right? Like you can't count that out. So that's a division that's going to beat each other up. Their record probably isn't going to look quite the way it should because there's a lot of parity there. So that's probably the strongest one. The other one that's going to be very interesting is the AFC West. With all of the changes the Raiders have made, they're going to be a fun watch. They're not going to be competitive week in and week out. That is a team that's going to beat some good teams, and then they're going to lose to some bad teams. If you're a Raiders fan, they're going to frustrate you all year. But there's going to be things that you're going to see that are stuff you can build on. So that'll be interesting. I think having another year with the Chargers, with Harbaugh in there, they're going to elevate their game a little bit. I think they're going to be a little bit more balanced as a team. So I like them. Obviously, you have the Broncos with Sean Payton as well. So their game will also elevate a little bit. So with KC maybe sliding back a little bit and the other three making strides forward, I think that's another division that is going to be very interesting to watch. I still think KC wins it, but I don't think it's going to be like it's been.
Really? You think, man, that's surprising. You think the Raiders got a chance and the Chargers can compete with them? The Chargers have to do it. They can compete. They have the talent to compete. Mm-hmm. Can they get over the hump?
Well, see, and I don't know that they'll do that yet, right? But
that's it. That's where they are. I don't think the Raiders aren't. They're not in.
No, they're not going to do anything. But what they are going to do is ruin some good teams' record, right? Like they're going to come in and steal some games that they absolutely probably shouldn't, and then they're going to lose some games to like the Panthers because why not? Right. So like they're going to be that team where if you are a Raiders fan, you're going to be like, yeah, we knocked off KC in KC. And then they're going to be like, oh, but then we lost to the Colts somehow. And
Right. What do
And
you?
no, they're not junk. I actually like a lot of the pieces. They're just not going to be ready to go this year, right? Like they're putting stuff together where they will become competitive over the next few years. This is just a team that's going to be a really like situational team. Like week to week, you may not necessarily see the same team.
Okay. So I didn't hear you mention the NFC West. The Seahawks, the Rams, the Niners, and the Cardinals.
You said the toughest divisions. I don't think we are that.
Okay.
You know, I think the Rams, as long as Stafford's back holds out, is the team to beat in this division. I think the Seahawks will largely have a very similar season to last year. So our team is going to be constructed a little bit better, but I still think they're a 10-win team.
I had them at 10-7. That's where I had them 10-7.
Yeah, so I mean, like I think that's about where they are. They play the South, so I mean, there's a couple of wins in there that sort of get built in. But our division beat each other up pretty well, even when teams aren't good, right? Yeah. Divisional games are always they're always a coin flip. The Cardinals, you have no idea what they're going to be. You like sometimes you're just like, man, that team's going to be tough to beat. And then other times they forget that Marvin Harrison Jr. is even on the roster. You're just like, how did you forget to use him in the second half of this game? He had 100 yards in the first half. So there's elements of that. Another coach, I think, probably gets fired. And then the Niners, like we talked about a little bit earlier, is they're in that reloading phase. So they're going to have to try and maximize some rookies that I don't know that they're going to get week in and week out. And yes, I do think the Lions are still the team to beat in that division.
Yeah, I think the Lions as well. The Packers will be there. The Bears, I don't think it's going to take that. They'll be better. I don't expect them to take that leap.
Actually, I got a question for you on that.
What's that? So
when you look at the Bears, obviously upgrade at coaching for this year, right? Huge upgrade at coaching, really, when you think about the last couple of years. But because Eberflus was not that dude. But so you look at Jay, always appreciate your time chiming in, man. And Rob, I hope you're right. But when you look at the Bears, upgraded coaching. They upgraded the interior of the offensive line in a huge way, right? Which, especially when you look at last year, like they fired everybody and got new guys. They have weapons. They have a good defense. The thing, now it really falls at Caleb Williams. Does he make that next step? Because he is the piece that's got to make this thing go. The only thing that I argue with that is they don't necessarily have to have a winning record. You have to have, like, say they're an 8-win team.
Right.
That, if you're a Bears fan, you can actually still like that because.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one, the division that you're in is going to be exceptionally hard, right? So you're probably going to get beat up in your own division anyway. But if you can see a progression of Caleb Williams and then these new pieces coming together, I do think, I do think the Bears fans can be happy even if it's not a winning season. I'm not a big Caleb Williams believer. So do I think he has a slump? Can he? Like, he didn't play that great last year.
Well, I mean, he threw 3,600 yards. I mean, so if his goal is to get 4,000 yards, be the first Bears quarterback, which still sounds bananas. First quarterback to get 4,000 yards passing in the season.
And that's what I'm saying is I don't think he can have a slump because he'll be better than he was last year.
Yeah, he'll be better.
So I don't think he'll have a slump. I think he'll play better. And I think you're right. I think he probably is the first Bear to hit 4,000 yards. I just don't think that it's going to matter in that division for this season.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that too. Jay. I heard that too. I don't know why. He drafted a guy that's very similar.
I'm not expecting him to play, though.
Well, you keep hiding behind that point. Well, no. We don't expect him to play.
No,
it's a legit. It's a legit point. But I understand.
I would like Caleb Williams and Shedeur if they had a year of sitting. I mean, it's like people forget that Mahomes got to sit for a year, or I mean, like it's okay to let guys develop in the league before you just throw them out there to get mashed by a defense.
I certainly agree. The Chiefs had they had when they drafted Mahomes, they didn't draft him for need. They drafted him to sit him, and so they had shoot.
What? And the Seahawks did the same thing. They didn't need the quarterback. No. This was not a quarterback draft I liked. I did not love this draft. In fact, I've said this numerous times. If any of the quarterbacks in this draft came out last year, they wouldn't have been in the first round. Oh. When you look at last year's draft versus this year's draft, everybody, including Cam Ward would have been a second-round quarterback last year. And that would have been the first quarterback.
Right. So, but I think people scared of his size, though. People scared of his size, though.
What it means is I don't think you were drafting, like if you're the Seahawks, I don't think you were drafting for a quarterback need to play week 1 this year.
No.
Because it just wasn't a great quarterback draft.
I think they drafted a quarterback could need because they weren't sure of, what's going to happen with their quarterback that they signed. And so they had to have some kind of contingency plan. And that's why they got. I mean,
they're planning for life after Darnold, right? So it's not necessarily even if Darnold balls out for the next 3 years.
So what do you do? Well, so quick question. Let's just jump forward a couple years. The Seahawks, they make the playoffs 2 of the next 3 seasons. Let's say, for example. Now your guy Milroe on the clock. His contract is due. Are you just go ready? Give him a 2nd-year contract if Sam Darnold were to play out his 3 years, as your starting quarterback, Milroe has been on the bench and had a chance to develop as much. What are you going to do in 3 years? You're going to develop some, but how much? The best way to get better at playing football is to play football. So
agreed.
So how much are you going to develop? But now his contract is due. Are you just going to sign him, or are you going to look for another guy?
No, you're probably moving on, right? Like if you're putting out the scenario where Darnold shows out for the next 3 years, right?
Or shows up. Let's just say shows up. Don't necessarily show out, just shows up.
Well, I mean, yeah. So the thing is, like, if he shows up, then you're probably moving on from Darnold.
Okay.
If he shows out, like he gets you to the playoffs, and he's part of the reason why you got there. Hey, I appreciate that, Jay. If he's a big reason that you're there, then no, you're probably re-signing Darnold, right? Why wouldn't you?
I mean, right. At that point, yeah, sure.
In that scenario, you're probably moving on from
Milroe. Okay.
Yeah, because you already have a guy in Drew Lock who likes being here. This is his 2nd time here. We have him for the next couple of years anyway. So in theory, if you were going to continue on with the Drew Lock project, he would already be signed again after the next 2 years. But if Drew Lock, say, moves on, then you probably are signing Milroe in a way, right? Because then he would probably end up being your backup quarterback in that scenario. So you may sign him to one of those,
2 to 3 year deal, another 3 year deal,
backup quarterback type contracts.
Sure.
Right? So that's how I see, that. And then if Darnold's terrible, then yeah, you're dumping him now. You're elevating Drew Lock, and then you're bringing Milroe on as fast as you can to see what he has. But yeah, I mean, it really just depends on the pace of play, right? Like if Darnold is playing not as good as he was last year, let's say he's not playing at that level, but say he can lead this team to 10 or 11 wins and he throws for, roughly 4,000 yards and 20, 25 or 30 touchdowns, you're probably re-signing that guy.
Yeah, if it kind of just you may you clarified it. If we're talking about the scenario that Darnold does perform 2 out of the next 3 years, gets them a playoff berth, and even without a win, I think that would be a success. And they do sign that guy versus signing an unproven rookie quarterback. That's I certainly agree with you there. Man, I want you to tell me, Bo. I know you got something going on with the mornings, a pick'em show in the mornings. Elaborate with that for the fans.
Oh yeah, so it's actually going to be Thursday afternoon. So it'll be the hour before kickoff on Thursday. And so what our pick'em show is we have a pick'em championship every year, and your name goes on the trophy and everything. If you're playing along with us, it's $10 to get in, and you win money if you play well. So, but the big thing is I sort of combined a couple of shows that I used to do. So I did a pick'em show where we do all the picks for every game every week, right? And then I also did a sports bar series where we did Thursday night football at a different sports bar all across Western Washington, because Thursday night football has largely not been great. So it made it more fun. I got to highlight a local business and watch the game somewhere where it was, kind of cool. And then I got to meet people that watched the show because I was, in their cities. This time around, just because I don't have the time to move around quite that much, we are doing the show just before kickoff, and then we're watching all the games at Crucible Brewing in Everett. So we're actually going to broadcast our pick'em show live from the brewery, and then do the game from there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And honestly, I'm not too busy for the fans. I'm still going out. I just don't have time to drive all the way to Yelm or down to Portland or up to Vancouver, BC. Sadly, just wasn't in the cards this time around. And yeah, my wife did win last year. She broke up my three-peat. I was a little bummed out.
Wow.
I ended up finishing third.
Funny how that happened, huh? Your wife won the tournament. Interesting.
Yeah. It was great. It was great.
Well, okay. So repeat the name of the sports bar where you're doing the Thursday night pick'em.
Yeah. So it is Crucible Brewing in Everett, Washington. It's right on Everett Mall Way. And we will be there. If you wanted to come and actually watch the show live, we'll be broadcasting from their side room at 4 p.m. And then, Thursday night football generally starts at 5:15. So our show will be wrapped up, and then Thursday night football will be on the TVs, and, you can come hang out, and I'll have a beer with you, and we'll talk football.
That's awesome. Once again, let the people know where they can find you, Bo. Thank you for tuning in, and fans will really appreciate you for tuning in. Let the people know where they can find you on social. Yeah, so at all of the socials at Football Talk with Bo. On YouTube at Football-Talk. And and then of course with my man right here at every home Storm game. Every home Storm game, that's right. We have to chopping it up. We'll be there Saturday. We have why am I having a brain fart? They're playing the Chicago Sky. Angel Reese coming into town, so let's see what they can do. A little disappointed, a little moment about the Storm. Do they make the playoffs? I'll put you on the spot. Do they make the playoffs? So their recent win streak before getting smoked yesterday, man, that game was tough to watch. And it was tough to watch early. We were 4 minutes in, and we were down by 10, and we couldn't buy a rebound for 40 minutes of basketball. It was rough. But so I do think the Storm makes the playoffs. The real question will be the Sparks. So they are up 3 games on the Sparks, but they're up 3 games because the Sparks haven't played those 3 games. They've played 3 less games than the Storm so far. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So they have the same amount of losses, but the Storm have played 3 more games. So I still think that they can hang on to that 8th spot. They still control their own destiny, but they don't have an easy path because they actually have some pretty tough teams coming up. They got a tough finish. They do.
Yeah, because I think they still have. I think they finished the year with the Valkyries. I think they have. They got the Liberty one more time. I can't remember if they play the Mystics one more time. So
exactly what they got left.
Yeah, like it is not an easy. Like their easiest game is this Saturday as far as a home game. What they play.
They got the Chicago Sky on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look for their game. So
where's because I can't remember their whole.
So schedule. they got Minnesota on Thursday, the 28th. They got Chicago the Chicago 30th on Saturday, and then they finish. All these games are at home. They got the Sparks on Monday. They got the Liberty on Friday the 5th, and then they got the Tuesday the 9th. They got the Golden State Valkyries.
Well, yeah, and you think the Lynx on Thursday is the best team in the league,
right? Yeah.
The Sky are not going to be in the playoffs, but they can beat anybody at any time. They actually just beat the Liberty 3 games ago. Then the Sparks are a borderline team. That is going to be the biggest contender to knock.
And they went to double overtime with the Sparks earlier, right?
Yeah.
Was that double OT?
Yep. And then the last two are great teams, right? Like they're playoff teams. So it's a tough way to end the year. What they really need is the Sparks to get beat up by some other teams to help them out.
So what do you think about you've been there all season with me.
Yep.
You've been hearing me pepper Coach Quinn about trying to get Malonga on the court, giving Malonga more minutes. So you see late in these last couple of weeks, you've been giving her more minutes. Mm-hmm. But those rotations has been kind of strange and challenging throughout the season. What's your thoughts on the season for Noelle Quinn?
Man, that's such a tough one. Because
we talked about player and coaches earlier.
No, exactly. And that's why I say it's tough, right? Because you look at it and you're like, okay, she's the second winningest coach in Storm history, right? And her team plays hard. But we also can't seem to coach up rebounding.
Coach up rebounding? Consistency?
I mean, they lost yesterday. They were out-rebounded 2-1. And then it was even worse when it came to offensive rebounds. We had 3, they had 12. And it was like 42 rebounds to 21 or 22 total. So, I mean, like it was literally almost 2-1 when it comes to rebounding. They also had 20 second chance points. You're not going to win a lot of games that way.
Right.
And they beat them in the paint by like 18 points also. So, I mean, like that was pretty rough. But when you look at just the entire body of work through the season, whether they've been winning or they've been losing, the thing that they never lead in is rebounding. And that's a coaching thing.
Right, yeah.
Right? Because coaching.
Well, rebound, I think rebound like defense is kind of a 1-2 deal.
Well, that's why I say coaching, because that is 100% a hustle drive style play. Right, you have to go down there and battle to box people out.
I can't motivate you, Bo, to do a better show, Bo. I can't motivate you. I can't motivate you. You want to or you don't. You want to or you don't.
Well,
I can't motivate you.
It's why I asked Quinn earlier in the year. I was like, hey, is the aggressiveness of Gabby getting steals and Ezzy getting blocks, is that getting them out of position to get those rebounds, right? Because they are hyper aggressive. Those are also drive plays. Those are want to plays. So why are we getting them in some of the defense, but not in one of the most important pieces of the defense in rebounding, right? Because it's not like the drive isn't there. You're watching it on blocks, on steals, on those types of things. Those are all the same effort plays. So why are we not getting the effort at the boards? Why do we not see it on the glass? And we've just never really gotten a good answer. And the worst part is we're also not seeing any elevation of that part of the game.
I think we have what we've seen. We've seen we've seen Dom outplay Ezzy.
Sure.
And Dom take Ezzy's minutes. I really want to ask you guys to get some behind the scenes stuff. I want to ask Ezzy about losing her job, but that's a sensitive conversation you have to have with that person, right? About getting
a lot of people want those off the record.
Yeah, exactly. But Dom is too thin in the middle. She was against Aaliyah Boston the other day, where Aaliyah Boston is solid.
She bodied her up.
she can just kind of. I saw this probably a few weeks ago, wondering why they don't run more plays for Dom late in the game. They run some. They don't run them. I was thinking they could run more. But as soon as somebody puts their arm or forearm on Dom, and she's at the block, she's out by the 3-point line by the time she gets the ball.
Yeah.
And I think. And that's not about skill. That's not skill. That's simple size. Somebody pushes her out there, and it's going to be. It's going to be a year,
right? Like
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's going to be a year or two simply before she can just physically compete against that. So the rebounding, I mean, that's their weakness. When you're watching that they have.
When you're watching the next one, when you're watching the next game, pay real close attention to the offensive boards, right? And the reason I say that, and it's frustrating to watch. So you'll watch good ball movement, right? They're actually pretty good at flying around, getting some good ball movement. But then you'll watch the offense stop when that ball leaves someone's hand, regardless of where it leaves from. Right? They could be in the paint. It could be a post. It could be beyond the arc. Doesn't matter. As soon as that ball leaves the hand, the whole offense starts to backpedal. Even when shots aren't dropping, right? Like if somebody's on fire, I get it. Like you're just like, oh, it's going to go in, you backpedal. But even when they're going through their stretches where they're not hitting anything, nobody is crashing towards the boards. They're already backing out.
So that's the coaching that you're talking about.
That is the coaching. That is coaching because you don't have anybody breaking to the glass.
Right.
Like as soon as the ball is getting posted up, somebody better be breaking to the glass. Everybody else can be returning on defense.
Right.
Because
somebody
you know who else is breaking towards the glass?
Yeah, the defense.
Yeah. Right. So it's not like the whole team's going to be behind you. There's other people trying to get that rebound. So you need to get in there. That is absolutely coaching.
Yeah, I get that. That's a great point. That's a great point. What do you think about this philosophy? Playing the three bigs, Ezzy, Nneka, and Dom down the stretch.
I mean, as much as that's fun to
look
say.
At this guy. Jay is on fire out here.
Yeah, Jay's killing it.
Jay's on fire over here.
Yeah. No, Jay's great. Doing three bigs is fine. If the matchups make sense, like basketball's matchups, right? So if you have a small, fast team and you have some slower bigs, it's not going to help you out because they're going to get around you, right? So, I mean, you do have to play the matchup game. I think Coach Quinn actually does that fairly decent.
Three bigs, you force them to match up with you.
When the three bigs, they're just going to rain from the outside. And if your bigs go get them, they're going to run around you. Right? Yeah. Like you can get around three bigs. Yeah. So are you going to get any rebounds? Maybe not. But if you got a bunch of shorter people anyway, you're probably a good perimeter shooting team.
I wouldn't mind seeing Domino running at the three at the wing. She's not thick enough to be in the paint and expected to
battle in.
She does it, but I don't think that's. Again, she's 19. She's frail. She's 28 pounds. So I think she's not built for the low post right now.
Yeah.
She can play in the low post. She can get buckets there. She's shown that. I just don't think she's built for that. I'd love to see her. I'd love to see her on the
shown
wing.
the drive to want to get the rebounds. She can get bodied out of the position.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
But she does want to go do it. And we have seen her minutes go up. And I remember you actually asked the question. This was, I want to say, almost a month ago now. How come she isn't more consistently getting into that 20-point mark? And Coach Quinn said conditioning was actually an issue. And she wasn't lying. Like when we watched her.
No, that was the same day you brought that up earlier.
She was gassed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it has been nice to see that element for Dom come along. Is she does look like she's, far better conditioned moving forward.
Yeah, better. I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, she hasn't played this much basketball, so it's going to happen. It's only to be expected. But I would think I like to see her. I just don't think I like to see her play on the wing a little bit more. I think she doesn't have the. It would take her away from the paint. Does she have a? Does it? Is she that dominate with her block and her presence and forcing challenging shots? Challenging layups like she does. She does that pretty well, even though she doesn't get the block. She does scare a lot of people. But I still like to see her on the wing. I think she could just be play more freely on the wing. And or take Ezzy out. I love Ezzy. Great person.
Well,
but
I mean,
Damas took her minutes.
It's tough to take Ezzy completely out though, because even with her diminishing minutes, she's still second in the league for blocks. So she maximizes her time in there.
I never said she doesn't play it. I never said she was not good in the paint.
No, for sure.
She's just 19. I don't think she's ready to flourish right there. Is she playing out of position? That's what I say. I'd move her around. Like I'd like to see her play. I'd move her around. Definitely move her around. Mm-hmm. Definitely Nneka and Ezzy have a more feel for defending in the paint. I think more Ezzy than the Nneka, and so that's why I don't want to. They already struggle there. We talked about the struggle. They're always whining about rebounding, so they already struggle there. That's a way to get Dom more minutes and more game time. But man, it's been a good time, man. Thank you both for tuning in with me, man. I appreciate it. We're gonna have to do this again. I'm gonna have to join this pick segment with you guys just to school some of you guys over there, earn some money. If I can win some money just by making picks, I'm in. If I can win some money, I'm in. So count me in.
I'll send you the link, man. I'll send you the link.
Shoot me the link, and we can chop it up. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for everybody who tuned in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. We appreciate you guys. As always, thank you for making our voice your choice. Have a good one, fellas.